y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is well. We haven't talked about the de-dollarization that's happening in a minute, so I want to bring you this analysis of how the dollar collapse is going to be very much like the collapse of the Roman Empire, and basically the same exact thing is happening that happened at the end of the Roman Empire, which is why I always say all roads for everything basically leads back to Rome. But you could take it back to just shoot uh, any civilization that Esau has run. They always end the same way, um, unnecessarily, because they don't learn their lessons. And I guess you could say that about human nature in general, but as far as what's going to happen, um, these people do the same thing over and over and over again. They'll create a society, and then it'll last for a spell, and then the newness wears off. People become disillusioned, or they find out the truth, and they just got to keep the circus up until the very end. So that's kind of what's happening now. And the people here in this nation are like people in all the other societies that collapsed. Most of them are not really paying attention. Most of them don't know what's coming. Most people don't understand history. And so history is always repeating itself. So it says the analyst predicts US dollar crash will be similar to Roman Empire's end. And if you are a studier or I'll say a studier, I guess. I don't know if that's a word or not. If you are a student, let's say student. If you are a student of history, then you know this story all too well. And so that's why I always, again, connect America to Rome. So it says leading financial analysts are warning that the U.S. supremacy has reached a tipping point and its dominance cannot move further up. BRICS and other developing countries are racing ahead as their economy becomes robust and stronger. The GDP of BRICS nations is growing tremendously and challenging US dollar at the global level. BRICS is convincing developing nations in Asia, Africa, and South America, which is the global South, those allegedly poor nations, non-white, to ditch the US dollar and use local currencies. And these are places where the majority of people on earth live. They are really the majority. White people, white nations are not the majority. As a matter of fact, they are decreasing in number. They're only the majority with their voices, with their noise, white noise, not the majority on earth in no way, shape, or form. They really have nothing to contribute to the globe where they live, doesn't have resources, not enough to support them in the ways that they have to rely on other continents for their livelihoods. They don't have always have the weather. They're not situated where they can grow like on other continents. They don't have the rich, fertile soil. Just a lot of things about those countries are not conducive to life long term and for a lot of people. And then, those people are recessive in nature. They just destructive. So wherever they are, you can always kind of see the correlation between life and death. Like everything else would be able to live and survive if it not be for them. And time and time again, history is showing that you can have something good and they won't allow it to grow. They just won't. So people are trying to figure out ways to exclude them, and everybody knows what's coming. A lot of these nations know what's coming, so they are preparing for the inevitable. But the children of the corn nations are not telling their people. So their people are walking around like, yes, we're superior. Yes, we're the supreme people. Yes, we're the greatest. Yes, yes, yes. Not knowing the rug is getting ready to be pulled from underneath them, and they're going to have to eat all that trash they were talking. So BRICS is convincing developing nations in Asia, Africa, and South America to ditch the US dollar and to use local currencies. Read here to know how many sectors in the US will be affected if BRICS ditches the dollar trade, ditches the dollar for trade. And I'll click on that later. So it says US dollar dominance could face Roman Empire fire. Financial analyst and the author of the best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, compared the US dollar's end to the Roman Empire. He explained that the Roman Empire's supremacy ended after their bankers debased their currency to pay soldiers, gladiators, and bills. BRICS is now looking to uproot the US dominance and replace it with a new world order. There you have it. Kiyosaki stressed that the U.S. is experiencing a similar decline where the officials are printing money to pay for its wars. That's what's happening now. It's been happening for a couple of decades now, but we're at the tail end of it. It's unsustainable. So it says the Roman Empire ended the same way with massive gladiators entertaining chubby Romans while their bankers debased their currency to pay soldiers and bills, he said. So think about it. Super Bowl just ended this weekend. You got the NBA playoffs coming up soon. College football ended. People are always wanting to be entertained. And that's why you see there's a distraction for every culture in this nation when it comes to white and black people. I think the other people, the Arabs and the Asians, some of the other people who have older civilizations, they know what's coming, and so they're preparing. They listen to their leaders. When it comes to repeating history, those nations tend to be a little better at um, preparing their people and being resilient, whereas with the children of the corn, not so much. And with us, African Americans, we are like always collateral damage because we're always in captivity or always somehow clinging to them as if they're our saviors. Like we just never learn our lesson. So it's going to be really painful for the two largest groups in this country because we've not been prepared properly. And we're not good students of history, which is by design. So it says the author urged investors to accumulate Bitcoin, gold, and silver as the prices cannot be tampered with. History repeats because stupidity repeats. Don't be stupid. Bet instead on gold, silver, and Bitcoin, he said. US dollar in could come through the hands of BRICS are there pressing all the right buttons. I don't understand what I mean. The US dollar could come through the hands of BRICS and they are pressing all the right buttons. Okay. The analyst had previously warned that the US dollar and the markets could crash harder than the 2008 financial crisis. He urged Americans to get their money out of banks and invest it in non-tampering assets like Bitcoin and gold. I don't believe in Bitcoin myself. I already explained to you what I think about all digital currencies. I just don't believe in them. I just don't. I might be wrong, but I don't. Gold, silver, anything tangible you can actually hold on to, that's not traceable, not hackable, can't be locked up. I just don't believe in any of that type of stuff. Even if your tangibles are, resources that you could trade or barter with, food, assets that you can have on your person, things that don't have anything to do with the digitalization of the world and the new world order, things that are just, going to be necessary for survival. Even those things are more valuable. Paying your taxes on your property for a couple of years, having that money sit on accounts that you will need to be paying in the event there is a power outage or grids go down and you can't access money, but your debt is still accumulating and you're not able to work and earn income. So you kind of got to be forward thinking. We don't really know what's going to happen, but you can be proactive instead of being reactive. And just think, do what the Holy Spirit tells you to do. I can't tell anybody what to do in particular, but do what the Spirit leads you to do, because you can't trust nothing that these folks say. You can't trust nothing. Like, if you ever wanted to know what it felt like to be alone and lean on the Creator for understanding and wisdom, like, this is that time. So um, a lot of people are warning. This guy has been warning, Robert Kiyosaki, like, he's been warning for a long time. I've been warning for a long time, and because the powers that be are able to hold off the collapse till they get all the pieces in place, or they have that power and ability to do that. It just kind of makes us look like we're crazy or we don't know what we're talking about. But the inevitable is eventually going to happen. The dollar is going to crash, and this economy is going to crash. The global economy is going to crash. It's going to throw the whole entire world into a tizzy, and people are not going to know what to do. There's going to be mass layoffs. Businesses are going to shutter. People are going to downsize. It's a lot of things that will come. People are not prepared for. But if you build a cushion or a comfort, something to buffer the crash, so when things fall, at least if you do fall upon hard times, it won't be immediately, like within a week, as some people will experience, because their whole life is tied up into debt, into just carnal things, and not planning, just living for the day. So when things get really bad, people are not going to be prepared, and I want my folks to be prepared. So whenever this thing happens, it's just going to be catastrophic for so many. And people think, oh, I'm gonna get a check from the government, I can rely on the government. Oh no, you ain't gonna be able to rely on the government, because there ain't gonna be no government, not for you anyway. And if you do want something from them, you're gonna have to be detained, or you're gonna have to go with them, or you're gonna have to do what they want you to do. So it's not a position that you want to be in, and I strongly recommend folks try their best to not be in it. All right, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Most High. Get your money out of the banks. Do something with it where it still has value afterwards, and invest in things that will have value when the dollar has no value. That's all I got. All right, this is Marley K, and I'm out.